What is going on, everybody? It's your boy John, and welcome back to Gearbox. So we are here on a very cold Monday evening after work, and we're filming yet another video for you guys. And of course, by the title and thumbnail, you know that we're talking about a little secret that comes into play for really all car people, but specifically for any Mark V Supra owners, which in my opinion has been an investment worth its weight in gold. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, I know a lot of the videos on YouTube that seem to have this sort of title and thumbnail more or less will come off as gimmicky or clickbaity or whatever. But when I tell you that what I've got to say today is important, you better listen up. And before you listen up, why don't you go ahead and throw a big fat thumbs up on this video. Show me a like, give me some support, and that'll go a long way. But what we're talking about here today, guys, is a product called BeamerLink. Now, if you've watched some of my older videos since owning this car, which I purchased it about a year ago at this point, you might be familiar with the phraseology, so to speak, of BeamerLink, and that is because there's also a product called Beamer Code, which is, to my understanding, developed by the same exact company, but serves a little bit different of a purpose. So Beamer Code, on one hand, is going to be the software you use to code out a bunch of random things within the Supra, such as disabling the auto stop start, or starting the car up in sport mode versus normal mode so you get some nice cold starts, or changing the tilt angle of your mirror when the car is in reverse. You know, all of these random little bits and pieces that, you know, ultimately make up 5% of the user experience, but result in a lot of make it or break it scenarios when it comes to really personalizing the car and having the car operate as you wish. And that's all great. BeamerLink, on the other hand, takes more of a diagnostic approach and uses the same ODB2 adapter that we're using with Beamer Code. And in this case, let me grab it right here. We have this buddy right here. This is the OBD-Link CX, I believe, is the official name of it, which is a Bluetooth adapter for the OBD2 port. Now, one of the greatest things that this has allowed me to do is be able to really scan the car and see if everything is operating as it should be. Now, that seems to be a pretty standard thing, I guess. I would feel like all of us want to make sure our vehicles in general are operating as intended, but sometimes making sure that these things are happening is a little bit easier said than done. Now, one of the main purposes of me purchasing said BeamerLink software, and by the way, you know, you have the OBD2 adapter purchase, but you also have a software purchase in the App Store, which is, let's call it $30 or something. But really the main purpose there was to have a true check engine light scanner. And yeah, you might be wondering why that is the case, and here we are right here. But really, you know, before I even put on my downpipe, I knew that this, at least there was a good possibility that that mod would cause some issues. So instead of waiting for things to go wrong and not really knowing if it was a downpipe issue or a different issue that needed to be diagnosed in another way, I wanted to get ahead of the curve, and so I got the BeamerLink software. But as you can tell by looking at my dash, this Active AutoWorks downpipe has perpetually thrown a check engine light on my car, and periodically I will plug in my OBD2 turn on BeamerLink, and just make sure that the only check engine light that's happening is related to the downpipe, as opposed to triggering some other issues that might need some more, let's call it, immediate attention before I absolutely detonate my motor. Now, one quick, interlude here. I will be getting this car tuned soon-ish, so this will become less of a problem, but regardless, whether it's a downpipe code, whether it's an electrical fault code or whatever, being able to self-diagnose your car on your own time in your own garage or whatever versus taking it into a dealer and running a literal $250 diagnostic fee just for telling you some OBD2 codes, in my opinion, is absolute bullshit. And so let me make, let's call it in total, $50 investment to do as many diagnostic readings as I possibly can, and let me act like a true car enthusiast. Let me diagnose my own problems. Let me figure out what these problems are, what's causing these problems, and what would be an adequate response to these problems to eliminate said codes. Now, one other thing, which is kind of a double-edged sword if you ask me, but you do have the ability to clear these codes as well. So if you have an issue that you cut out a part of a wiring harness or something, you can make it believe that that piece is still there, and that's awesome. I wouldn't exactly say just go ahead and clear out all of your check engine lights, because obviously they're there for a reason. But if you have made some pretty calculated moves in modding your car, which have resulted in a check engine light, you can confidently clear that code and, give yourself the peace of mind, I guess, that you don't have a CEL, and you can go about your day normally, I guess. What's also really, really cool about the BeamerLink product is not only is this a diagnostic software, but it's also, once again, because it is directly accessing your OBD2 port, you can really customize whatever data you want to see at any point in time. And really what I'm getting at there is you can customize a gauge cluster to show you, turbo inlet temps. You can customize PSI on your boost. You can customize coolant temps, battery voltage, whatever. Literally anything you could possibly want to see in your car in real time can be done through BeamerLink. And coming from the world that got me started in cars, which is Subarus, and specifically the Subaru WRX, in a lot of ways, this software can act as a wireless cob access port. Now, the cob access port is more of that all-in-one type of functionality. BeamerLink serves a specific purpose, but one of the best parts about the cob access port for the Subaru and Volkswagen gang is that you constantly have a more granular view of some of the more important aspects of your car, such as air-fuel ratios or knock or whatever, that you want to be cognizant of driving those specific cars to make sure that you're not putting your car in harm's way from a mechanical perspective, and BeamerLink can do just that. Now, one thing that I haven't quite found out yet, and I'm curious to hear maybe some of y'all's opinions on this, but is how accurate BeamerLink is with it being a Bluetooth connection versus being hardwired from, direct from the OBD2 port. That I don't know, but either way, I can pretty much guarantee you that the data that's sent to BeamerLink versus the data that you read off of your car in a very user-friendly way is probably going to be more accurate, or at least more specific, than your car is willing to give you. And in some cases, that could make all the difference. So anyway, I don't mean to ramble on about this piece of software that in a lot of ways is really only specific to BMWs and or Mark V Supras because BMW, but I guess my point for more of an overarching theme is go ahead and invest in something to where you can kind of do the back-end diagnosing of your car. Hopefully you never have to use it, and hopefully it's never going to give you the worst news of your life. But being able to just be more in tune with your car and really understand each and every metric that could possibly be thrown your way, or even just something as simple as a check engine light. You know, understanding the severity of that issue. Does it need to go into the dealership or, you know, the mechanic shop right away? Can it wait a little bit? What is it? What could be causing it? Do your own research. There's a lot of added benefits here. And even outside of that, you have the proactive perspective as well, you know, from the gauges and the data logging and all of that sort of stuff. You know, that can be extremely helpful, especially when you're fine-tuning your car. You know, if you're just running stock ECU map, stock exhaust, stock this, stock that, that's fine. The car hopefully should operate the way that it should. In some cases it won't be, but I'm sure a lot of you guys like me, you buy this car not to sit here and keep it stock, but to do some modifications and make it your own, which come with an inherent risk. And that risk might be a lot of ways going to be affecting the engine performance, and being able to monitor that and make sure that you are not on the speedway to brick your car based on modifications and overall engine parameters. That's really important. And that's where software such as BeamerLink or the COP access port in the Subi world or whatever, that becomes invaluable, really. I mean, it is just so important to have these data points logged and understand your car more so than anyone else. That could mean all the difference. So guys, I hope you like this video. If you do, please feel free to give it a big fat thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns on the BeamerLink product, drop them in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know the drill. And until next time, peace.